Hey, can you do a favor for me? Oh my God, what does she want? What's she going to ask me for? What do I have to do for her? Not again, right? These are things that often come to our mind when people ask us for favors. Hi, everybody. My name is Mary Abbajay. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to talk about the favor bank. That's right, how to give and receive favors with grace, class, and graciousness. The favor bank is a metaphorical term, if you will, that just refers to some karma bank in the sky where you give and you receive favors from other people. And like any bank, you want to make sure that you have a healthy balance, which means that you want to make sure you're putting in enough deposits in order to make some withdrawals. So a couple things I want to talk about with the favor bank. One is to understand how to make withdrawals, because of course we want to make withdrawals, and how to make sure that we are making deposits in a way that's going to keep our balance flush and in the red. Oh no, in the black. In the red's we don't want to be in the red, right? In the black. All right. So first of all, when asking for a favor, I want you to follow a couple of rules. One is I want you to be really clear and really specific about what the favor is. Any favor you ask of somebody, you want to make it easy for them to give it to you. And one way to do that is to be clear about what the favor is. I was recently contacted by a colleague who asked me for a favor in a 3-paragraph email. At the end of this email, I wasn't clear what the actual ask was, so I responded back to her saying, I'm not really clear about what it is you want me to do. Was it X, Y, or Z? She then responds back with 4 paragraphs saying, I hadn't really thought through this yet, and then quite frankly, I stopped reading after that. And I just responded, well, let me know when you know. So you want to make it easy. Be clear and specific about what you want from that person. Now, and also make sure that person is the right person that can help make that happen for you. So you want to make sure that you are really aligning the favor with the right person. A lot of the times when we're asking for favors, we are asking for favors of time. Now, all favors require some amount of time to respond to it, but oftentimes people are asking for a meeting or an introduction, or they want to pick your brain or something like that. So when you are asking for a favor that's going to require somebody's time commitment, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour, you want to make sure you make it easy for that person to give you that favor. Meaning, make some time suggestions. You are the one that should schedule it. You are the one that should send the calendar invite. If you are inviting someone for lunch so that you can pick their brain, then guess who's buying lunch? You are. Guess where you're having lunch? Near them. Guess whose office you're meeting at? Theirs. So you want to make sure if you are the favor recipient, you are the one that is actually executing the favor and paying for it. The other thing about asking for favors is you want to make sure that you are showing appropriate gratitude, right? You are thanking the person for the time, the effort that it took to fulfill your favor. Now, most of us know this, right? We say thank you when a favor is granted. But what most people don't understand is what I call the 3-prong thank you. This is the extra special sauce on gratitude. When you follow the 3-prong approach, not only have you taken a withdrawal from your favor bank, but you've also made a deposit. And let me show you how. Let's say that I'm reaching out to somebody to ask them to introduce me to somebody else, right? So let's say I'm reaching out to Valentino, who's my dog, as you know, and I say, Valentino, I would love to meet your groomer. I want to learn more about the grooming business. So Valentino says, why, Mary, of course, you feed me, you bathe me, of course I'll introduce you to my groomer, and does the introduction. At that time, that's prong 1. I say, thank you, Valentino. And in the email, I say, thank you for the introduction. Valentino, I'm moving you to blind copy, BCC, folks. So it removes him from the email chain so I can go ahead and coordinate this meeting with this new person. That's prong 1. Prong 2 is the extra special sauce. And that is when, after I meet with the person whose introduction I requested, I'm going to send Valentino another thank you note saying, hey, Valentino, just want to thank you again for introducing me to so-and-so. We had a great conversation. I really appreciate it. Boom. Now Valentino's feeling pretty good about me and pretty good about the favor that he just did. Now, here's the extra special sauce on prong number 3 of the gratitude. That is, let's say this person that I was introduced to gave me a piece of work, or I got a job, or something really great happened as a result of that introduction. You know where I'm going with this, because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Valentino, and this is probably months or weeks later, and say, hey, just wanted to thank you again for that introduction, because look what happened. And now Valentino has forgotten about the introduction, so now Valentino feels so good about this extra thank you, and that now Valentino feels so good about me for remembering to thank this person. So the extra special 3-pronged gratitude approach is like magic. And by the way, when you're saying thank you, it doesn't have to be an email. It could be a card. It could be a phone call. It could be a gift. Send me books, send me cards, send me flowers, send me candy if you really want to get into my good graces. But saying that extra acknowledgement of the thank you. So that's how you want to be a good favor receiver. All right, now let's talk about giving the favors. So yes, you want to be able to give favors as frequently as you can, but you also want to be aware of what favors you are giving require the help of other people, if that makes sense. So for example, a lot of favors that we are asked for are oftentimes in the professional world, favors of introductions, right? Mary, could you introduce me to your publisher? Mary, could you introduce me to your LinkedIn learning contact? Mary, could you introduce me to your speakers bureau? And you have to be very aware that these people, there are people in your network that are being hit on all the time for introductions. So a good rule of thumb is before you introduce somebody to somebody else, you want to check with the other person first to make sure that this is an okay introduction. Because what you don't want to do is burn your bridges with that person. Because every time you make an introduction to somebody, you're actually taking a favor from that favor bank. So for example, if someone wants to meet with my speakers bureau, I will always email them first and say, hey guys, oh, by the way, it's outspoken, they're fabulous. Hey, Tori, Tara, Kate, this person would love to meet you. Is it okay if I make the introduction? And then they'll say yes or no, and I will then make the introduction. So that helps keep them safe from being an onslaught of unwanted introductions. Now, let's say for some reason they say, no, that's not really the right fit for us. Then I'm going to go back to that person who requested the introduction, and I'm just going to simply say, I'm really sorry, they're not accepting new introductions right now, or I'm really sorry, I'm not comfortable with making that introduction, but I do know this other person. So if you have to say no, see if there's something else that you can offer this person. But you really want to make sure you are not overburdening the same people in your network for things like that. The other thing is whether you are receiving or giving, is you don't want to go to the same well too many times without reciprocating. For example, I recently was asked by somebody if I could meet with them so they could pick my brain. By the way, I hate that expression. Next time, just say, can I get some advice from you? That's much better. So I said, yes, of course. I'm always willing to give advice to people. So this person, we had this charming conversation. They were lovely. And then 2 weeks later, they emailed me again and they asked me for another favor. And I was like, yeah, fine, okay, here. And I did that favor for them. And then probably about a month later, they came back for a third time asking me for a favor. And at that point, to be honest, I kind of ghosted them. It was too many favors too soon. So you want to make sure when you're working with the people in your favor bank that you are, yes, giving and receiving, but that you're also being very cognizant and very respectful of people's time and boundaries and generosity. So that's my thing on the favor bank. I want to make sure that you have a healthy balance. You are giving and you are receiving, and you're making it so that people feel valued and well treated and well regarded, and that they are being thanked properly when you give them favors. So if you have any thoughts on the favor bank or you have any tips, please put them in the comments below. We'd love to hear about other people's experience with giving or getting favors. And of course, please do me a favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where we are going to be bringing forth lots more no fluff, no BS, no bullshit advice to have happy and healthy, successful careers and professional lives. So I look forward to seeing you next time.